Hello guys, and welcome to another profile tree video. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how to create a website. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So just before we get started with the website build, let's get an understanding on each step of creating a website. First is to define your purpose and goals. So clarify what you want to achieve with your website. Is it to sell products, provide information, showcase a portfolio, or even offer a service? Understanding the website's purpose helps you make informed decisions about its design, content, and functionality. So for instance, if you're creating an e-commerce site, of course it's going to need a shopping cart and a secure payment gateway. Whereas a blog, it might just focus on content management and readability. Next is to choose a domain name. So your domain name is your web address. So if you take our company, for example, it's www.profiletree.com. So you'll be using something like www.yourbusinessname.co.uk or .com or .org. There's several different web addresses that you can use. Now, you have to make sure that it is memorable, easy to spell, and relevant to your brand or purpose. Use a domain registrar like GoDaddy, Namecheap, or Hover. Now, there's plenty of other areas where you can grab a domain name. It's best as well to check the availability of your desired name before creating a brand name and before purchasing. Also, what's best is to consider keywords relevant to your business and avoid overly long or complex names. The reason why? If you are using complex names, it can prove to be a little harder to, say, use in a sentence, or if you're trying to add it in different web pages. Now, having a website name or of course, the domain name is very important for a website. You want to mention your brand name as many times as you can within the web page, and that's great for SEO, which we'll talk about later in the video. Next is select a web hosting service. Web hosting is where your website's files are stored. Different types of hosting are available. You can have a shared hosting, you can have VPS, which is virtual private server, you can have a dedicated server, and as well as that, you can also have cloud hosting. Now, generally speaking, for beginners, shared hosting is usually sufficient and cost effective. When you are choosing a host, the best thing to do is to consider factors like uptime reliability, your customer support, scalability options, and included features like email hosting or SSL certificates. Now, usually these plans you have to read through carefully, make sure you do a comparison between them, just to identify which would be the best web hosting service for you. Next would be to plan your website design and structure. So this involves outlining the architecture of your website. Best thing to do is start with a sitemap. Make sure you have a basic understanding and outline of your pages, how they link together. Consider the user journey and navigation, how users will move from one page to another, what sort of link will link this. So those are all very, very important. The best way to get an understanding on your web design and structure is to sketch wireframes for key pages to plan the layout of elements like text, images, and call to action buttons. Now, this step is an important step. Of course, this is when you're going to be building your website. There are two ways of going about this. One, you can go ahead and use a website builder. If you're not too technical, that's no problem at all. That's why we have these website builders that can help you create these websites. 2, which is building from scratch. So if you have coding skills, then you can create a more customized website. But let's get into detail with this. Website builder, these are pretty much like platforms with drag and drop and pre-made templates. You can create your website without coding. These are very user-friendly and often come with hosting, so that's what makes it cheaper as well. You can customize templates to align with your brand, adjust layouts, and add your own content. Now, in terms of website builders, there's several to choose from. We also even have AI website builders to assist. You have the likes of Wix, you've got the likes of Squarespace, Shopify for any e-commerce, you've got GoDaddy as well. Now, in terms of AI website builders, you've got Mexo, you've got 10web, so there's plenty of website builders out there to use at the minute. Now, if you're building from scratch, as I've mentioned, if you have the coding skills, you can create a more customized and unique website. HTML and CSS are overall the whole structure and style of your pages, so that's what you're primarily going to be using, while JavaScript will add interactivity. Now, if you are a little bit more skillful, then you would have to use backend languages like PHP or Python, and that's for dynamic sites, like those needing a database. So that's crucial. Those two coding languages are crucial to creating a database for your website. Then the next stage is create and add content. Content is crucial, so include clear information about your services or products, compelling copy, and high quality images. And as well as that, for SEO and engagement, regularly update your site with blog posts, news, or articles. Ensure your content reflects your brand voice and it's targeted towards your audience. Now, speaking of SEO, optimize your website for SEO. SEO involves optimizing your site to rank higher in search engine results. So an example, if you're typing up a website or if you're typing up a company on Google, you'll see that they're more than likely to be at the top. Now, say that you are a smaller company or a smaller business and you're trying to rank. If I search for your name and you're not there, that means that it's not working. So you have to make sure that when you are doing SEO, you optimize it, use relevant keywords in your content, optimize your meta tags, that's title and description. This is the first thing that you're going to see about a web page. The title, of course, and a little bit about what that page is. Be sure that you ensure your website loads quickly, that it's mobile friendly, and has high quality inbound and outbound links. Remember, SEO is an ongoing process, not a one-time setup. So it's something that you always have to do, always improve SEO, work around SEO as well. Next is to, of course, test your website. Testing involves checking your website's functionality, loading speed, and responsiveness on different devices and browsers. Look for any bugs or issues that could hinder user experience. You have tools like BrowserStack, and that can be used for cross-browsing testing. And there are several different tools as well to help test your website. You also have a built-in tool on the Google itself. So if you click inspect, you can go through Lighthouse, check the responsiveness, loading speed of the website. That's where you can look it through. Then, of course, once you've done all these checks, optimized for SEO, did your tests, then this is the time to launch your website. So after thorough testing, and of course the final tweaks, that's when you can publish your website. Make sure that you use social media platforms, email lists, and any other marketing channels to announce the launch and encourage feedback from early visitors to quickly identify areas for improvement. And as well as that, they're great as well to look and see if there are any potential hidden bugs. Now, the last two steps really is to maintain and update regularly. Regular maintenance is key to ensuring your website remains effective and secure. This includes updating content, checking for and fixing broken links, updating software and plugins, and regularly backing up your website. And as well as this, you need to consider monitoring the performance. Use tools like Google Analytics, provide insights into your website's performance, user behavior, traffic sources, and more. Regularly reviewing these metrics help you understand what's working and where improvements are needed. So that's overall the entire step on creating a website. That's a step-by-step. So that's 11 steps to succeeding on creating a website. Just to get a clear understanding on it, we'll go ahead and build a website, and we'll use a website builder to do so. So for this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and use a website builder called Wix. Now, I would say Wix doesn't need any advanced technical skills or knowledge of web development. It is pretty known for its user-friendly and drag-and-drop interface, and it makes it accessible for individuals and small business owners who may not have that coding experience. So for the likes of creating a website, I'm going to use this. Now, I wouldn't say that it's as highly customizable compared to WordPress with the amount of interaction that you can use. However, Wix has gotten pretty great over the past few months, and we have been introduced with a new platform called Wix Studio. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. So firstly, I'm going to choose a template. Now, if you are going to be using WordPress, you can go through the same steps. It's more or less just going through and looking through a template as well. Now, in terms of plugins, you will have to go through parts like Elementor if you want to have a drag and drop builder, or Gutenberg as well, parts that will help you throughout the entire web development. Anyway, so here we have the templates, and just to speed up the actual tutorial itself, we'll go for a blank canvas, or just a wireframe. So these are some of the wireframes that Wix does offer at the minute. Now, as I said, I did mention the use of planning your website design and structure. So this is the overall architecture of your website. I would say that this is not a sketch, but it is a wireframe. It uses placeholders to plan out the layout, which is the elements of text, images, and call to action buttons. We can view here that we have a couple of options. We do have e-commerce wireframe, we've got landing page wireframe, multi-purpose wireframe. So that could be used for an e-commerce build or a non-e-commerce build. You've got advanced multi-purpose wireframe. You've got advanced portfolio wireframe, and services wireframe. What we'll go for is we'll create a one-page website. So we'll go for a landing page wireframe. Now, in terms, if you do want to create a multi-page website, then I would go for the multi-purpose wireframe, advanced multi-purpose wireframe, or the advanced portfolio wireframe. So I'll just go for the landing page wireframe. So get this opened up. Now, it just takes a minute or two for this to fully load. Just, of course, depends on the connection and speed of the device. So I'll go ahead and skip forward once this has been through. Okay, so the wireframe has fully loaded up. We have an overall idea of what the website's going to look like. So we'll just go ahead and preview it just so you guys can see. There are some built-in animations already. You can see how that flows with the entire website. And I'll show you guys how to use these animations as well. So from top to bottom, we have everything that we pretty much need, from about, product, resources, and contact. And we also have the get started. So get started, which is going to drag us down to contact. So yes, as I mentioned, this website will use anchors, and I'll go ahead and show you how to use that. But anyway, we'll edit the website. We'll try to replicate the brand colors of Profile Tree and use some of the Profile Tree images on this. So starting off with the first one, of course, which is the business name. So I'll just change it for the meantime. I'll just say Profile Tree. Now, you don't necessarily have to use what they provide. You can change it. You can go ahead and click the entire stack. You can delete it, like so. You can go onto the elements on the top left. You can go ahead and drag and drop an image in. And then with that image, you can go ahead and change that image and possibly upload from media. So, like so, I have got the Explorer up at the minute, or the File Explorer, and then I'm just going to grab a logo, just have that dropped in. So that's now downloading the Profile Tree logo into the site. Doesn't take long, just takes a couple of seconds for it to fully go in. Of course, that all depends on the size of the logo or image. So we'll update this and we'll add that into the site. And then what we need to do is a slight adjustment, of course, to the sizing and proportion of the image. So I want to keep that at maybe at around 15, and then maybe for the width, potentially increase that width. Have to make sure that I can actually see this properly. So I'll just bring this down, and then what I'll do is I will bring this up like this. So just so I can see this logo. Will take a little bit of encouragement and adjusting until I can get that right. Probably a little bit more down, probably a little bit more up. Expand this a little bit more, bring it up more. And like so. So it's not perfect, of course, just for the purpose of the video, we will keep it as is. So just have that there. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that. So depending on your logo style, of course, then I would go ahead and apply it onto here. So again, that's through images, and then just drop the actual file through here. So now that we've got that going, what I want to focus on now is just the alignment. So I've just went ahead and fixed that there. For the menu, I want to go ahead and change the colors. On the right side, what you'll see is the toolbar. If you just scroll down, you can see the menu and container. You want to make sure that you select the menu items, and then that'll bring you to the text. You scroll down, you can go ahead and change the fonts if you want to. So if I want to change it to Verdana, it'll change to Verdana. If I want to change it to a basic, so basic will look like this. But I'm happy enough with the one that I had. So I'll go ahead and just revert back to where I was. Okay, and one more. Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll change this to color green. So we'll click on this and again go back to the menu items, text, and you do have a couple of options here. We currently have it at black. I'm going to go ahead and change that to green. So I'll add a color here just below, and I'll put in our hex code. Okay, and then so that's now green. And in terms of the hover, this is the regular state. You could change that over to the hover, and you can see with the color, it is going to be black or gray. We'll just convert that to black. And then if you are on a current page, we'll keep it at gray. So that's the color there. We'll just keep it at this color. A little bit of a lighter gray. Okay. So happy enough with how the header looks. Again, you could change parts like the action button here, or call to action buttons. This is our hero section, which is next. Again, we could add background scroll effects. There's a couple there, which is fade in and fade out. You do have animations here on the right side, interactions, so hovering. You can see here, there's a couple of hovering options. Click and scroll. You can see how well built this builder is, especially for those who are starting off, the beginners. So again, not too technical in code, then this would be the website builder for you. So again, what we could do here is add a background. So we'll go to the tool again, we can add media, and this is where we can have some content. So we'll just change the background to this color. Then you can see how this is a little bit dark. Select edit text. We'll now change that to color white. Say something along the lines of welcome to profile tree, like so. Now the background's a little bit too bright for the white contrast, so we'll go ahead and change the color background, you can see here. And then I'm going to go ahead and change that to black. Now the reason why we're doing this is because we've got the opacity. And now if we decrease the opacity, you can see that it darkens. Now if we had left that in color white, you can see that it'll be a brighter shimmer. So we want to leave that as a darker color. So that's all coming together now. And just for the purpose of this tutorial, just turn that color white. So we've got our header, we've got our hero section. Next, of course, is to add some images. Now do note, you don't have to follow this particular tutorial. I just want to give you guys an idea on how to create a website, as well as using a website builder. So images, they're okay, you could just change them through here. Now, all layouts will be different compared to the layout that I've picked. So I'll just go for photography again. Just keep it nice and simple. Just do this. Choose a couple more images. That. And then this one. We will just do this one. Okay. Now with this, if you aren't too happy with the layout, as in the sizing, go back to the toolbar, go to the page, and you should have an option to actually change the section. So apologies, I was meant to say the actual page and section. So go on and click on the section. This is where we can change the height. So if we want to change that up to 600 just to make that a little bit bigger, we can do so. Maybe a little bit too big, we'll probably just shorten that down to 500. Okay. And then with the stack, I'm just going to drag and drop a little bit lower so it sits a little bit nicer. Now in terms of this, we're happy enough with how this works. And we can add sections in. So this is where we could pull elements into this section. Or another thing that's a lot better to make your life easier and make the web development a little bit quicker, you can go into sections on the left side And then you can add some design sections. So you've got welcome, about, services, products, team, projects, testimonials, even a banner. So depending whether you're just creating a normal site, this is, I would say, only occurring for e-commerce sites, but you can have testimonials, you can have projects, team, so we can have like meet the team almost. So that section has now added onto the page. So you can see that we have the top part, hero section, got another section. So this is the about us space. And now that we have meet the team, what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and manage the menu. We want to go ahead and add an item, but I'm going to go ahead and have a link. So this is where I want to have an anchor to this page, but I want to link it to that section. So I need to name that section, which we'll do first. So just go back to this section, click on this section. Layers are on the left side. You can see that you've got a bunch of sections here. I'm going to go ahead and name this particular section. So section, scroll down, anchor, add an anchor, like so. Section name, we'll say team. Okay, we'll back out, scroll up, horizontal menu, manage menu, add an item, link, anchor, homepage, team. Done. So if that was a little bit too fast, I'll just retrace back the steps. So what I did first was went ahead and selected the section. So these are just repeaters. We don't have to worry about that. Go onto the inspector or toolbar on the top right. Now you'll see this section which says stack. What you want to always do is go back to the section. Now section, that's the very foundation of where you've added the elements. So from this section we've added repeaters, as you can see, images, and then we could see here that's a stack, and then on the stack is an item, on the item is a repeater, and then on the repeater is a section. So then if you scroll all the way down, again this only occurs if you're creating a one-page website, which we are. I've named the anchor team. You can add an anchor by enabling the toggle, and then once you're done, go back, scroll back up to the horizontal menu or the menu that you have, select it, click manage menu, add an item, make sure that it's link, and then add an anchor. Which page? We only have one page, which is the home page, and then which anchor on this page? Team. So that's what we've named that section. So that's how easy it is. Now in terms of moving things about, we don't want team to be last, we want contact to be last. You've got the squared dots there. Just go ahead and select and scroll. You can see how that changes, and that is now about, product, resources, team, and contact. So we can exit off this. You can scroll down. We're happy enough with this section, and we are happy enough with this section as well. So that's the products, resources, brands, testimonials. You've got contact, more information, and the footer. Now, one thing to note, if you are creating a multi-page website, it is important to have a look at the global sections. Now this only occurs for Wix. So if you are only building a Wix site, this is where you need to have a default header and a default footer. Reason being is it'll use that default header and that default footer for any new page that you create. So say that I have a new one. So if I duplicated this, and then this is a copy of the header, and then I deleted that, and then I just said replica for the meantime. I click on this one. It'll give me an overview of what this replica looks like, I can go ahead and add that to the page. It'll add that just below the current footer that I have. I can go ahead and add another element just to show. So I'll just go to quick add, and then I'll just go to shape, and I'll just put that random shape in there. So this is the difference between the two. This one's got a shape, this one doesn't. So if I go to global section, and then I go ahead and set this to default, I go ahead and remove this. So this is now my new header, which is the replica, and then this is the one that's currently showing, as you can see. And then this is the replica, like so. So that's pretty much just it. You need to just double check your global sections. That's what I've noticed when I was using Wix, is you should always set your headers or footers to the desired design that you want. And then, of course, on top of that, you don't really have to worry about the site styles if you've got your own way of doing it. If you want to speed up the process, then you can change all the site typography styles, the colors, page transitions, and as well as that, you do have quote-unquote plugins, but Wix calls it the app manager, and this is where you can add stores, bookings, blogs, and so on. So they have quite a few options. So that is pretty much it in terms of building a website. It's very easy to do on a website builder. You can just drag and drop. You can more or less complete a website or a one-page website in about 2 hours, 3 hours, depending how detailed you go with it. Or you could just go ahead and choose a template. So depends how much detail you want to put into the website builder. And again, if you are considering building a website from scratch, then I would more be lenient towards, again, a website builder if you aren't too technical. But if you are technical and know how to code, then by all means give WordPress a try, or even try other website builders as well. I do know that Hostinger does have a WordPress integration for websites, and it can be a little bit better to use since you do already have the hosting. So you just pay for the hosting on that one, and you don't have to worry about trying to get a hosting on a WordPress site. WordPress is free, but you do have to pay for hosting. So, and on top of that as well, that's where, of course, is where you're going to store all the website files. So you could choose whether to go for a VPS, which is virtual private server again. You can go for a dedicated server or cloud hosting. Or if you are just starting off, then go for a shared hosting, because it's going to be a small website, depending how you want to build it for your business or personal use. If you want to build up a portfolio. Portfolio, again, I would only recommend to use website builders since it is such a small site. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the video. That's just a bit of an explanation on how to create a website. Now, generally speaking, you don't have to use Wix. You can use any other website builder, but I just want to demonstrate how quick and easy it is to build a website. But guys, if you enjoyed the video, or if you found it informative, let us know in the comment section below. We'd like to know what you think. But other than that, I'll see you guys for the next video. Thank you very much for watching.